G'day, James Wilson here from James Wilson Domestic and Commercial Pest Management, bringing you a few pest tips. We're going to start with today's version on termites. Okay, this is my company here. I'm a timber pest inspector and a termite specialist. Now, I want you to note this. When people become pest controllers, or aka pest technicians they call it these days, a pest technician comes out of tech, does a 1-year course and can do a barrier on your house by law. I'll repeat that. A pest man that's just come out of tech can do your home a barrier for termites and do an eradication by law, which is a joke. It took me 10 years of my 27 years in the industry to become a termite expert. Simple as that. Up until 10-year period, I can say there was a lot of learning. I'm lucky, 100% success rate. I learned from some very experienced men. So I didn't make any mistakes and I always double check my work. Hence, no failures or eradications were successful and all my barriers held. Touch wood. So I've got a very good name out there as a termite man. You get a guy that's just come out of tech just because mummy and daddy's got plenty of money, pull up in a flash car, all sorts of flash gear, and you'll think he's good. Wakey wakey folks, if he's got new gear that means he hasn't done much work. You'll see me pull up in my old ute with my beat up tank that's turned yellow. It was white. That tank's yellow from thousands and thousands of gallons of termiticide going through the tank. And I flush the tank every time. It's a legal requirement. So it goes to tell you exactly how much work the tank's done. If the tank's yellow, the man you got at your place has done a lot of work. That's it. You can't buy that. So, step 1, check out his gear. If the pump's too clean, car's clean, ask some questions. How long you been a pest man? Can you give me any references? You know, are you a timber pest inspector or just a general pest technician? I'm both. Ask him. Make sure. Bring his boss. Ask him. Make sure. You're spending thousands of dollars usually on a barrier. A barrier will cost you between $2,500 and $10,000. That's a lot of money. Your home's your castle. You're protecting a big investment, usually the biggest investment of your life. You want it done properly. Do your homework, folks. Okay, we'll get into a little bit about different types of termite. In this presentation, we're going to talk about one species which is called coptos aciniformis. I call him the home wrecker and the heartbreaker. There's 713 types of termites in Australia, and out of them, there's 4 species that are classed as highly destructive that attack timber and service. Timber and service means timbers that are being used to build and create things. Timber that's been cut out of the bush and actually made into something else. That's timber and service. Now they'll tell you there's a lot of different timbers that are termite resistant. No, there's not. There are termites that don't like timbers. Yes, white cypress is one of them, and I'll say that they'll never attack it. I've seen termites attack white cypress. When there's nothing else to eat, they'll eat anything. I've seen them eat stacks of phone books. I've seen them eat stacks of newspaper, cellulose based. They'll attack that. That'll keep them alive, keep the colony alive. It's all about survival. They've been around 100 million years, folks. They've got some amazing ways to keep surviving. They evolve. This is why we have to keep going back to chemical companies, checking, updating information, finding out about new products, new techniques that are on the market. You have to keep doing it because as they evolve, so must we. That's a nest I found under a house. This house was located in Concord, which is a suburb in the inner western suburbs of Sydney. This nest was 6 foot wide, 4 foot deep, 3 foot down. So it was a big nest. When I opened the nest, it looked like it had several million individuals. Could have been double that, but I'm just saying conservatively, several million individuals in the nest. The queen was in there. I didn't know at the time. I could have got a lot of money for the queen because there's some companies doing a lot of experiments, and queens are very hard to come by. It's very hard to find a nest like this. Usually you don't. You just get to wipe them out. I could have took her away. She was big, and silly me killed her. I flooded that nest with chlorpyrifos, and I put a bifenthrin barrier around the house. That's flooded with that with chlorpyrifos. Reason being I can use that product. It's pretty volatile. They reckon it's carcinogenic these days. Reason I used it, I was always a bit iffy on the product. It's pretty rugged. I knew to do instant kill. These people were an older couple. There was no one ever going to go under the house. There was no service areas to go under there. There was no wiring. There was no reason to be under that part of the house at all, ever. So I thought, well, I'll spray that. I'll flood that little section with chlorpyrifos, and for 25 years, nothing's going to be able to survive in that soil. I mean, nothing. Sad thing about chlorpyrifos, it kills every organism in the soil, not just the termites. Nothing will survive once you put chlorpyrifos in the ground there. So it's got its ups and downs. As I said, around the property, the perimeter treatment to New South Wales standard, I use bifenthrin, which is a product that came out a lot later. It's still around today. It's slowly getting phased out as, I won't say better, but newer products come out that are safer to use for the pest man. That's why they're doing it, phasing it out. But bifenthrin is still an excellent product, guys, believe me. And I'll show you a little bit about what you do with a barrier. Now, this is a barrier to the, excuse the size, New South Wales standard AS3660. Excuse me for stuttering. I don't usually do videos and stuff like that. Face to face I'm fine, but yeah, doing a video I'm a bit hesitant. Yeah, I'm shy. So these are spaced out at 300mm intervals. I think 400 is the standard minimum, but I do them 300 and full and continuous around any fixed areas like this. We've got slab, we'll run along like that. Around the sides of the house, if it's grass or dirt, we'll trench it. We'll flood the trench, then we'll backfill it, put the dirt back in and flood it again. So that's a beautiful solid barrier, nothing's going to penetrate it. Sometimes people want them done not the standard. They don't want us putting holes in the tiles and slates like that. So we'll come out along here and inject under the slab with an injector rod. That means it's not the standard, so we have to note that. And that can be a problem for warranty. It's up to the company if they're going to warrant the job or not. But the customer doesn't want the tiles broken. Normally you meet in the middle, work something out. Other things you find when you're under houses. This is a subfloor I found in Darlinghurst. Now they're wondering why they're having problems with rising damp. Now look at that, folks. They're termite leads. They're actually termite mud leads running up there. So don't think termites can't go straight up and down. They can. I don't know how they managed to build that. They're amazing that they did. They've been around 100 million years and they've evolved some pretty weird techniques. This place was absolutely filthy. There was sludge on the bottom of the ground here, about 4 inches. It was just 4 inches of wet sludge. That's it. And I actually went under another section of the house where it was 3 foot of water. 3 feet of water. I had to walk around up to my waist in water checking the ceiling. Or not the ceiling, checking the subfloor, which was the ceiling above my head. To get the termites out of this building, it was a massive boarding house. It was a massive job. The build was probably the late 1800s, so it was a very old building. It was massive, absolutely massive. It had about 40 rooms in the building. It was a big job, and it did cost several $1,000s to eradicate and protect the place again, which was cheap. Like, he got a couple of quotes, which I advised, so you know how much he was saving, and 20 grand up. So yeah, it was big money. Reason being, 4-story building, they were in every floor, top to bottom. The place was really bad. Didn't stop them. The building would have been, well, condemned. Simple as that. It was losing its structural integrity. It was borderline. Being a timber inspector, not just a general pest technician, I could check the integrity of the timbers. I couldn't give him any certification on it. You have to get an engineer to do that, but I could recommend that to happen. A general pest technician won't do that. He hasn't got a clue, mate. They just come out of tech, you threw your money away. So make sure you get a good pest man to check the place out. Information on termites. Here's a book I'm writing. It should be out in June. There'll be an electronic version for $10. There'll also be a hard cover with some beautiful photos in it. You're probably better off with the hardcover if you can afford it. It's going to be around the $40 mark. But as I said, you know, it can save you thousands of dollars. If you get us to do a barrier around your house, if you've got no termites, $2,500, your house is pretty safe for up to 10 years. If you get one of the other companies to do it, it's going to cost you between $4,000 and $6,500 for the same job. And if you read the fine print, New South Wales law only requires 12 months warranty. That's right, folks, 12 months. I know that even when I lay down a barrier that's going to last for 7 years, I'll still give you the warranty for the period of the lifespan of the product. you'll never get 12 months warranty off us. I like to be able to sleep at night. I don't rob my customers. I don't make massive profits, but I'm content. That's simple as that. That's me, folks. James Wilson. If you need any help, any termite work, any comments, give us a yell. If you need me to do any barriers, mate, you'll find me on True Local, Yellow Pages, all the rest of it. Phone number's been the same for 27 years. Quite happy to help anybody out there. Stay tuned for some more videos, and talk to all you guys soon. I hope you enjoyed the video.